What's up, fight fans? Mainman Mademan here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing. What up to the fam? What up to everybody in Mainman Mademan's boxing forum? Hey, look, so the thing is this, fight fans. We know we are very excited about the news about the upcoming fight between Tony Harrison and Tszyu. We know that Tony Harrison is now stepping in as the opponent for Tszyu, who will be fighting for the WBO interim title to become the mandatory to Charlo. Charlo was the original opponent for Tszyu, but however, Charlo has an injury, and so he's pulled out of that fight, and now we're going to go forward with this one. The crazy thing is that Tony Harrison was being spoken about to be involved in the fight with Sebastian Fundora. So it looks like that fight is now going to not happen. More than likely, I wouldn't be surprised that if they did Sebastian Fundora versus Charlo. So the thing is, fight fans, this fight right here still is a very, very good fight. I think the public would definitely buy it competitively. It makes a lot of sense, man. This is a very, very interesting fight. And like I was speaking about yesterday on a live stream, I think it's a real good fight to give to either man's credit to have to gain a fight for undisputed, meaning that it looks as if they basically put that work in. Where you got Tony Harrison now going, back through another tough fight to earn the third fight with Charlo, where he's already defeated Charlo one time, and Charlo has defeated him. And Tszyu, whom I don't believe is quite ready yet, and I think that Tszyu's corner doesn't believe he's quite ready yet, he can use a fight with a very experienced veteran, such as a Tony Harrison, to prepare him for the likes of a Charlo. So either way it goes, this fight right here, I think makes a lot of sense for both of these fighters going forward to even if they want to get a Charlo, you know what I mean? Now, you may say Tony Harrison shouldn't have to earn it, given that he split it 1-1. If you think that way, fight fans, I will agree with you. But however, this also takes away the claim from any detractors that say he has not earned another opportunity. You feel me? Just same way like Erickson Lubin was when he was fighting his way back through the ranks, trying to make his way back to Charlo, who had defeated him as well. The thing is, though, man, I'm looking at the words of the promoter of Tszyu, and they realize that this fight is very, very dangerous. Now, this fight is going down in Australia, fight fans, so you can also say it's very dangerous for Tony Harrison. But this fight is very dangerous because Harrison is a decent fighter. They're kind of semi-dubbing this as some sort of championship fight in Australia or whatever, given that the interim belt is on the line. Whatever they want to do, man, to make it hyped up out there, whatever. But the thing is, it's going to be a very uphill battle for Tszyu. Tszyu is going to definitely have to use his youth, the fact that he's more so the fresher fighter, the less war-torn fighter, and he's going to have to use some of his best abilities in that ring to defeat Tony Harrison. According to his promoter, he says, and I quote, "Tim also knows this won't be a walk in the park. He has a very, very dangerous man in Tony Harrison in front of him. Harrison is the only man in the world to take down the undisputed champion in Charlo. So it's a massive risk for him," end quote. I have to agree with that dude, Joe, because, hey, man, the thing is with Tony Harrison, man, he's a boxing mind, fight fans. The man, he's also the coach of Alicia Baumgartner, a women's boxing world champion. He's also her coach and getting her over some of the biggest fights of her career. This man knows how to not only execute the fight game, but he teaches the fight game. That speaks volumes, fight fans. Tony Harrison is a guy who has many tools in his toolbox, many layers to his game. He can move. He can fight going forward. He can fight going backwards. He's an excellent counterpuncher. Very accurate fighter as well. Speedy hands. You know what I'm saying? But we already know that the big story with Tony Harrison right now is two things, fight fans. One, he's known to be a fader in previous fights. Some fights he starts off very well, looking very poised, doing everything, hitting all boxes, hitting all cylinders. But then later on in the fight kind of fades off and his stamina takes a big hit and he's not nearly as slick and he starts to get touched up and eventually he collapses, similar to what happened with Jerry Hurd. But this has been a thing with Tony Harrison over time. Fast starter, fast starter, but kind of slow ender, you know what I'm saying? And but once again, man, that and the fact of his injury, he suffered the injury prior to the second fight with Charlo, in which now it's kind of left him since then almost a bit less mobile, or should I say a bit more stiffer. If you look at his back foot and say his last fight with Sergio Garcia, where, by most fans' accounts, he looked pretty good. But in that fight, you can clearly see that his back leg is still a bit stiffer than you've seen in previous fights. and it kind of drags it around more than I've seen in previous fights as well, which lets me know that thing is not 100%. I mean, Tony Harrison has even been on record of saying in the past that he didn't even go and get like no major surgery to get that thing fixed. So I just wonder how much of it is going to hinder him in a fight where mobility may be key. And so, you know, but other than that, he's sharp, man. He's still sharp. And Tszyu, man, like I say, he's the younger fighter. I think the best thing he'll have going for him in this fight is to try the best to use his youth, power, and just basically brute force and more aggressive fighting ability to try to defeat Tony Harrison. Don't get into a boxing match with him, because I don't believe he's the more superior boxer than Tony. He's going to have to press him. He's going to have to make it into his wheelhouse, make it to the inside, throw a lot of inside shots, make it dirty, hit something, hit anything. And most importantly, he's going to have to make Tony work and make him fade. You know what I mean? Don't let Tony get comfortable fighting him at range. And for Tony, you know, if Tszyu gives him a rangy fight or wants to fight in a rangy fashion, Tony should take that all day. But if for Tszyu, no, he shouldn't get into that kind of fight. He'll get countered all night. I don't think his defense is nearly good enough to not be countered by Tony Harrison at range, even going backwards. I just think he needs to press him, man. Get to the inside and work him as much as he can, man. And just cut the ring off effectively and beat him up. And hopefully, you know, keep his defense tight, keep his hands up, watch for the counter shots, hit the body as much as possible. That will be more so keys to victory for Tszyu. But it's still going to be an uphill battle. Like I say, experience definitely plays a part here. Tszyu may feel a bit comfortable in front of his home crowd and in his backyard, and Tony may be facing a pretty ruckus crowd, fight fans. But his experience, he's been in plenty of big fights throughout of his career, and he's been on this level many times. You know, now I don't know if he's ever been in the backyard of another fighter, and facing such maybe a big crowd like this, and I don't know what this may do to him. But once again, he's still an experienced fighter. So if I had to take a bet on it, I'd bet on he'd stay poised. You know what I mean? But we'll see, man. It's going to be an interesting fight. A lot of implications here, fight fans. Good for both men, man. I'm looking forward to this fight right here, man. And I'm cool with the replacement here. And once again, I don't think boxing fans will have a problem with it. Thumbs up on the way out if you didn't hit it on the way in. Share. Rock the bells. Catch up with y'all in the next live stream, man. To the next video. Peace out.